Welcome to Dynasty the Podcast Show. I am your host, Ira Thomas Bush the Fourth, and I just want to say thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate everybody listening, everybody that has put the effort into at least trying to give me a shot of breaking things down from my point of view and give you up to date intel on just like I said, I'm right now I'm heavily involved in just staying in tune with the political world. I'm also trying to get things activated more on with the community. I'm not in Florida right now. I'm in Washington D.C., but I'm still trying to get active. Wherever I'm at, I'm going to try to be as active as possible. I talk a lot about just having people trying to put delay me from being a community athletic coach. That's like the basics of what I've started off as. But I've also ascended to just being a voice in the community now. And the things that I'm putting out is very valuable, whether you listen to it then or you listen to it in the future. I hope you get a chance to intake what I've been speaking on, and you could do your own research. It will be helpful. I actually do like feedback. I know it's so many things that's going on as far as people trying to shield y'all from my message. I'm not really in tune with that type of with that type of warfare. Not no this leads right into I ain't gonna go into what the main thing we're gonna be talking about as far as politics in the hearing that I went to today when I went to the senator's office. Only went to one building today. Well, I went to two, so yeah, offices. And that's just how they're playing the game. I think I'm gonna just review y'all because I spoke on this once previously. Basically, y'all have to remember that the United States Constitution and the Declaration of Independence was formed because these people wanted independence from London, Britain, and any European country that wanted to stake claim. Spain, um, anybody, any European country, South America, whoever was involved in this piece, and there's people that were already native of the land. They were also fighting. They were basically fighting against them. Some people came and joined them and stayed and fake stayed on their side, depending on what country you're from. And that's how they ended up starting to colorizing things later on after they got established you know, into this white, black, Spanish, wherever country you're from. They basically, separated like that once they got established after they signed the Declaration of Independence and whatever rules they started making and taxing people for this and that and this piece of land and that piece of land. I basically talk about it all the time. My people, if I got a social security and a birth certificate from the United States of America, my people did not need paperwork to be on this land. You get what I'm trying to say? We came to agreement because if you recall, Thanksgiving was not a celebration. The only thing they were celebrating was the death of Native people on this land in the North America part, which is now called the United States of America. This is history facts. That was not a celebration for nobody of my kind. We celebrate it now because we're still on this land. There's people still roaming at the tippy top trying to survive right now. I'm here right now. I'm right on the Capitol. They basically are these people are so demonic and evil. I'm not blaming China or Asia, whoever brought their people over here to take over, which they've done a great job. They did it with technology and intellectual force. They didn't do it, by shooting and killing people. They might have had to get their hands dirty somewhere down the line, but I don't have any information on that. That's not what has shown to me from their end. They might have enough money to make some phone calls, but I haven't seen them do anything they, except unless it's spiritual, or spirit, what I'm saying? It's not nothing I can't come back from, and I'm not trying to say it's okay because I talk a lot about spiritual warfare and attacks, and it's not proper and cool to me anyway. So that being said, I want people that are cowards that's sitting up on top of the Capitol Hill to actually be mindful that they could easily just give the thrones to us so they could actually survive. And we already were weakened enough for you to survive. but you bought in a whole big old country. You went to destroying it, trying to. This is what I'm going to be talking about is basically this is the topic of the day when I go into my main topic and main situation. Y'all have been so nosy in Asia that y'all went to their capital and y'all went in there trying to infiltrate. This was broad day. This okay, the person, I'm getting right into it. I'm not even gonna the guy that was laughing and there were senators, they asked the question and there's people on the hearing that have to be in defense. There was somebody from Asia, China, I think she was from China. And she was just, the people basically gave her she made a relations with somebody from America. We're in 2026, so the fight and battle that we had previously with China to establish friendship, and we used strong armed forces to establish, our feet in China, in the capital of their, we didn't do it firsthand probably because all we did was make this side of China go against this side of China, which is documented probably on their side more than our side. We just talk about what happened. They talk about the intricate parts of why they were going against each other. When I'm not from China, I'm not from Asia, so I don't have those full details like those people could tell those stories. Now, what I would say is, they might have been not in tune to what was going on then, but when technology came into play, and they seen what was going on, from their just staying home and having computers and technologies and satellites and stuff. They got advanced, and they've been pretty much advanced same time. They were always in competition with us in advancement, and they always kind of was in the lead because I think they worked with Africa pretty much for how to get energy. You know what I'm saying, that energy part of the just expanding on technology, you know what I'm saying, that intel, and not losing that information to gain to go. You see Transformers, you feel me? Like they have that type of information over there in Africa and Asia already. They just wasn't showing it. That's basically what Black Panther was about. And it's not every part of Africa or every part of Asia. It's just that's how it was. That's how it is. They figured out how, even that one with what's the white guy name that when they turned green energy, and they was out here switching into like super transform Power Ranger type people in Human Force. But I keep saying dang, he's one of my favorite Asian actors. Played in Rush Hour. They make me confused. Okay, whatever. It'll come back to me. Um, Whatever. Let's continue. But what today is, the guy Dr. Lewis, who was basically at the hearing for defense, probably most likely that's what it looked like. They were sitting there defending what they were. I don't have the specific look. When I go into there, I go in there to decipher what the main message is. All right. So they making jokes. I went to the one I wanted to go to. They locked me out. I was late. Maybe they had some kind of schedule of you walking in the building room, or them calling themselves making it public, and they didn't want nobody there, which is improper in itself because on the sign it says public. The public can go into these rooms. These people were voted by us to go into these hearings and to make sure we're accounted for properly. So the one I wanted to go to, they wasted my time because I could have went to the other one. They started at the same time. They changed the time as well from yesterday to today, which is for what, I don't understand these things, but whatever. They didn't want me in there. Cool. I went to the one that, that was open to the public. I find it interesting that, they want people in confusion. And that being said, Dr. Lewis was making jokes instead of making, he seemed like he can have gave more information, but he's making jokes about, them having them basically hacking his phone. Every time he used to come to China, they were following him around, and then when he got there one time, they wasn't following around. And the reason why is because they already had information on how to know where his whereabouts was, which is how our phone was already designed. He's like, oh, They took my phone one time, and I had to get a phone from China. All our phones are from China, dummy. Like they all built from Asia now, or descended of it. You know what I'm saying? Or copycat from it. Like at this point, because like I remember the first real game system after my Super Nintendo days. I got a PlayStation in like '97. That was like the first or second year they came out. I had NBA. I had the NBA game. I had the Crash Bandicoot game, and I forgot the other one I had. My mom bought me all that stuff. You feel me? So I was already on Sony. We was Sony'd out. We was in Asia already. You know what I'm saying? I ain't had no phones, no cell phone, but I had a PlayStation at 6 years old. So you know what I'm saying? I'm with whatever they own, as far as technology. I've been a PlayStation guy my whole life. So you know how that game, the gaming world is pretty huge. They got it on the PC now. I think, I remember me and my cousin going to our grandfather's house, and we was like, we had, how you used to have to plug in the phone connection just to get on online. Well, we had to plug when I was like, "Cuz, let's get on online, just see how it works, see if it worked." I just wanted to see if it would work because our grandpa, he pays, he got all this stuff. We was in the back chilling. He had all this stuff. He got all his the cords there. He ain't playing the game, but we plugged it up. So I was like, all right, cool, we lit, we know how to do it, but we was playing each other. We used to play seasons and back to back to back. So me and him been tight. Like that's how me and him bond. That's my big cousin. So shout out to my cousin Rashad for real. And it's just like we when we learned, we were just laughing about it because now it's not like that. It's not dial up. You know what I'm saying? It's all a box. Got your internet box and you just got to get the code, and that's what basically he's like making fun, like it's some new age type of system. I'm like, bro, we've been on that. You know what I'm saying? They've been having that the way you could tap into online system. So I was just like, they making fun of like, and then it was only one Asian lady there, and then there was another guy. He seemed like he had an Asian last name, but I don't know if he's Asian or not. But it was just basically what I got. I took notes. I sat there and I paid attention. I missed 30 minutes of it because 15 minutes went because I wanted to go somewhere else and I had to come back downstairs to the other side, whatnot. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it was. But I'm just gonna break down what I was speaking on. Um, this it was a lot too. Giving and let me put it like this. What I got from it. This is going to be my first note that this is what they said out their mouth, but this is what I got from it. This is a message to the people who call themselves. Matter of fact, I kind of got off topic because I want to also include this. Okay, I think it was either when the person who's called herself in power and over the commander in chief over the United States right now. The first time he was around, they started something called they said that they were changing. Basically, the United States of America is an LLC. It's a business. This is basically what I'm trying to say. And they basically sold the United States of America, which is everybody with a social security card, everybody with a child, and we still got the system in place. Now, what they did was the person who was in charge, I don't know if it was him or, Biden, whoever they want to blame at the time, but they sold the United States of America LLC, the business side of it, which was what London and Britain and all those countries formed when the Declaration of Independence was formed. They sold that, and I'm pretty sure it was the first time he was in office, like, towards the end, the data that I recall it. They sold that United States of America to China, to Asia, whoever was in control, because we are already in so much debt and we're already behind so drastically in technology, and we're already falling behind in athletics because they're weakening people like me and other strong, super strong, powerful, smart, and they're trying to kill off all our black women or control them or make them into prostitutes. Like they want their white women to be undercover prostitutes and work in high end society or whatever weirdo stuff that I'm paying attention to. There's not going for my with my child, and I understand mental manipulation. I talked to my child about mental manipulation. I talked to her about spiritual attacks. I talked to my niece and nephew about the same thing. They all have had these things happen to them already. One's just turned, she turned 21 in November. And I got other nieces and nephews, but my niece is basically in her generation is first born. Well, she's not the firstborn. She's like round, but it was and on my mom's side. This was, I can't go off. It's different type of energy on my dad's side. That's the worst. That's the whole different type of ball game because my cousin not playing, and I already told y'all the story of what it is. It ain't no joke really at this point. You ain't even know how high he's and I'm up here for a whole reason. That's one of the main reasons I'm in Washington D.C. and going down here to check all these people who think everything's a game of funny and they want to do all this soldier saluting. And our grandparents are already soldiers, and they wasn't low ranking soldiers. And the people that we're around, which is our friends, their parents was no low ranking soldiers. My people were not nowhere near the bottom when it comes to preparing physically. I never dealt with no weak individuals when it comes to preparing physically and even mentally, because that's where I'm a strong point at. I have real conversations with my friends when I was younger. Being the youngest, being coming of age, being a coach, all this stuff is work hand in hand. So to get back on track, this I was saying, the U.S. they changed it into, they say they changed it to the USS, the United States, the United Americas, or whatever they called it, because that was just a new form of the LLC. But we haven't got no social from it. They basically tried to say that it was basically everybody was free to do whatever they want, but it wasn't talking specifically to people that are native. I have a certain clearance being a native, being that fact that you know who my grandfathers is, my great grandfather is, and my great grandmother is on both sides. You know that we was from this land. This is documented because they were all in the service already. So you documented that we were already strong, free people that came to agreement to create a system where you can have education, and the education leads to you working and being certified in your area, and you can earn for your family. That was what the system was designated to do when we made that agreement. And we were supposed to have our patch of land, which was not a small amount. So when y'all come raiding and trying to snatch our women up and kill the men off and put them in war, that's what y'all trying to run that same play. But I'm not gonna go down like that, because when I went to sign up, y'all know I'll make my decision, meaning I want to come to service for this specific thing. I don't got time for this specific thing because y'all sitting up here trying to take people out that already done squash something that y'all should have left alone instead of trying to take credit for it, and y'all go revert back to the same thing. That's improper. So let's continue. So whatever those deals was, the split was, the USS, the USA, whatever y'all calling it at the time, y'all need to come to bring it back to fruition, because China clearly is still trying to control the United States of America, which is what they call it to me when I was born. So I'm gonna just say I'm United States of America with a passport and a social and a birth certificate. And the same thing with my child. She gonna get her. So she got her social birth. Both her parents got a passport. My niece, both of their parents got passport. My nephew got his passport. He done went to Asia and Africa already. My mother has married somebody from Africa. I don't know what the mix up is. And I got friends from Ireland. I got friends from Germany, wherever you want to call it, or associates, whoever I went to school, whoever want to claim something. These people are already well versed out in the world. And they people, and I'm not claiming it meaning like I need their clearance or anything. I'm just claiming that people are already spaced out. People go way over here and mine theirs, and then be like, hey, I know him. He was born there. Hey, I know him. He told me he was born there. That's what I say. You know what I'm saying? That's the conversation. Now, what people trying to do to control is improper. So this is what comes right down to what my message was about that war that they've created. The narrative now is that they're losing in the Iran war, which is stupid. You just created a whole shit show of being fucking nosy, and this is what is coming out to China, because you're gonna start making people do stuff they don't want to do, because the Asia don't, they'll manipulate, be nosy, they'll try every other way, but use a gun. You get what I'm trying to say? They'll use everything, every other tactic. This is what I know about these people. These people not coming here trying to be bullies. So when you go over there trying to be a bully, that's when you're gonna make everything solidify for them to to just be the doormat and the weakest part of the world. You know what I'm saying? That's what they mentally want to do to us. And that's what I'm trying to say. I don't want to be the part of that plan of being manipulated and being weakened in mind or whatever they make and go or control our women. Because y'all goal is to either control or kill our women off. And this is the white power men, the Ku Klux Klan members that want to do that to our women. That's improper. Whatever they mother be thinking or what they was trained to do, whatever their mindset is, I ain't going for my family. And I'm telling you, whoever with me, I'm with you. So this goes right into the sequence of the United States of America. They've given a lot of power to China, especially from the capital part. This is me surveying and availing. And it's not really like they're giving it to them. It's because we're in debt. So we have to make agreements with them. We're behind in technology. We're behind in resources. We still have to pay them some kind of way. They don't want our paper money unless they come over here and give their children and wives and family $1 million plus to do something. You know what I'm trying to say? Like in American dollars. The agreement is kind of like that. They're not coming over here being poor people. You know what I'm saying? Unless they got a certain job to be poor. So it's just what it's gonna be, you know. And I just broke down to you the two separate things that they tried to do right in front of us that they haven't been breaking up or talking about. So let's go right into it. Giving a lot of power to China. It's not that they want to. Is that that's what he was complaining about. The guy Wong Hong, whatever his name was, he mentioned like he said right. Let me get what I was saying. Never started this situation. No one cares. No. It was Mr. Moreno. He was mad because they tried to, he's mad because him being American tried to strong arm China recently instead of learning and working, coming up. This is what the hearing is. It's a preliminary hearing or something that it was saying. I came late. There's going to be another one, basically. It's not the last one of this conversation and trying to work out something. Learning and working, instead of learning and working together, they want to control something by strong arming. And let me go back to back to the top, going back in order. It started with, no one cares, you know, you know, the people over in Asia and China don't really care. You know, this is what I wrote down. Nobody cares. The guy was, Mr. Lewis and whoever Mr. Hong was bragging about us having more, satellites in the air and being the leader of that. But we're oversaturated in that area. We're over there trying to be nosy in one part of Asia, which is what they designed it to be, so it could be secured the most. But everywhere else is pretty much, they could still have farmland. They could still be, control their population how they wanted to be populated, and they wanted that they really wanted China to be the spot where it's duplicated like United States of America. So it could be, it could be some kind of triculation of not oversaturating their land with losing their way of life, meaning the way they treat each other, the way they train each other, the way they're I'm not saying it's perfect because don't live there, I'm not from there, but I'm just telling you how they want it. That's what they're showing you. They give you permission to see that. Don't go over there complaining. Don't go over there feeling entitled because and don't go over there bullying. What I'm saying. They made some agreements where they're gonna bully some women and this women over here, and the same go back and forth. Those are people who fall. In age of culture, they'll fall to the wayside of being left over here and thrown out of their country eventually because they're not doing by the ways, they're not living by the pure intentions of Asian culture. I know that's for a fact. You feel me? They don't. It's so many people. The reason why there's war in Asia is because there's a lot of people still there. You know what I'm saying? And that's not a bad or a good thing. They had a limit to how many people were being born because that's just how it's the natural way of life. It's overpopulated some areas. What they needed America for, they don't no longer need y'all. They no longer need help. They know how to contact people to come tear this part of the land down because we gotta move some people out to the forest part of it and put houses over there and put houses over here. And, space out. Hopefully, y'all got a visa to go here and move and live and be happy with what you've already accumulated in your country, which is how Africa and Asia work. They try to learn and live other ways once they're used to their land and want to explore more. And if they come back, all the people asking for is, information. They're not really coming over there with all that. No, what we coming over here, we want to come bring 1,000 people and kick this over and tell people what to do and we're America and stick our chest out. But if you really remember how it was formed, we don't got that good of a face over there. You know what I'm saying? In every part, you know what I'm saying? So my suggestion, my solution will be, since you got good ties with China, ask China, where should I go next? Without being so military based, without being so arrogant. This is the things that I wrote down, when I'm listening to these people talk. Um, and when I was talking, when the person that I start, the stuff that I caught, the information I caught was our Senator Mrs. Blackburn. She did a great job of giving them proper questions. I didn't write down her questions. She could say what she want. The lady of age should say what she want. I'm not hating on nobody who come in there with the mindset to at least ask the right questions. So she did a great job. I'm just gonna shout that out. The rest of y'all, it was, someone, everybody else is pretty much neutral. They from America. They not here to try to champion China. I understand how that works. Being in the senator's position, you don't want to sound like you're going against your country. But the guy that was the other guy. He was kind of fed up because it was kind of what I was saying. Like you sound arrogant. Like they have to. We lost. It was like we lost by a vote or something. Probably was for where exactly the we will be doing something with, and then whatever program it was, like where it's going to be held, who's going to be in control of the program type of situation. I wasn't there in the beginning, so I didn't catch every little thing, but I tried to piece it together for what I did. And he was like, we lost basically the coin flip. You get what I'm saying? They got to start ahead of us, so. And then it was talking, they came down about transportation, and it was talking about the cars in China being more how lazy we have gotten when it comes to being engineers and teaching it in our schools and teaching it to our people. We are literally dependent on Asia for technology advancement, or Africa, depending on the country you go to. They confused. They're confused. These people are so old and so white supremacist tied in. They don't have the mindset to open their mind and horizon to 2026. You go to any Olympic game, you see how vast and wide the world is. You sitting up here in the United States, which is half the continent, which is not small, which is not the biggest though, and it's still got we still we can't even listen. We don't even have great tie. We don't even have great relations with China, with Canada, and this is the other side of this is the other side of our continent, North America, and that's because the way it was formed, people are arrogant. People just don't get it. You know what I'm saying? This the arrogancy that comes from here. They put tariffs on Canada. We're in the same continent. We put tariffs on China. You just told us you're mad because they got more better cars than us. Like, which one you on? You trying to tax people because we smarter? Like, the dumbest thing is you taxing somebody that's more smarter than you. They could use some other currency or go some other way. You know what I'm saying? They mad because they sold more cars. I'm like, they made like 80 billion dollars more doing this. I'm like, that sounds like hate. That sounds like division. That sounds like whoever telling you your information is not a great leader. So what I could confirm, and I'm gonna leave it at that because I'm gonna read some of the notes that I got. I don't want to sound like I'm giving opinions. I'm gonna read the opinion, then I'm gonna close it out. The risk and failure to protect the investment was a question. What is you know what are we gonna do if that happens? We need. They basically said we just need better perspective from other people. Economically dependent, they have been using. Um, they basically what I got, when they asked the lady from who's Asian, I don't know if she's from Asia or China. Um, Basically, whoever was supposed to help her, then did stop coming to the meetings, and he wasn't properly helping her. He put everything on her, which is a play that the people that are in power in the United States do to the women here. They like to blame that woman or that guy that's new and he just came into office, so blame everything on him. And China's kind of catching on to why that things are not working out. They don't want it to work out. They want to blame the people of African descent or the reason why it's not accomplishments in the world or progression in our world to work with them. And that's improper. They don't want to get out of the way. That's the main problem. If they had, say if they split, and I'm not being funny, they got people of color in power as far as couple judges. I mean, when I say couple, one you count them on your hand. They finally let politicians get through, which is the reason why they're letting them get through, because they messed up so many deals and messed up so many ties out in the country, and we don't even know it was that bad until we get in office. And you got to be a strong individual to even carry the torch of being a politician, and that's what it comes down to. They didn't do things properly. Now, this is what I'm. Let's continue. Whatever she was saying, okay, when she was when she was describing her not having help, and the guys right before she spoke, she was like, I didn't come to those meetings. And I'm like, basically that they sound like they use the funds improperly, especially on our behalf. I don't think China or Asian people come over here, especially when they get in position of politics. That people come send them over here as politicians or as liaisons to make a deal. They don't send them over here poor. Send them over here without nothing. And if they do, it's like make them spend their money. We already done. They already owe us. What I'm saying? They want our ideas, and basically they're trying to get some like finesse, putting a woman in front, make it, land with, all the little weirdo stuff they like to do to try to say they in tune with the Asian people. And this is what I came with. When you treat China women, it's just like anything. When you try to take advantage of their women, and they might have, it might not feel as strong as I do about protecting women. I don't know how it is over there. I've never lived there. I'm not from there, but it's not good karma. Anytime you mistreat a woman or you misuse a woman, it's not good on your behalf. And that's the message I was saying. You're putting these people in danger. Um, that's the one thing that I seen. That's basically what happened in this situation and why things are not coming together. Now, if you put some real force behind what you want to get accomplished and create solutions, then you might get something out of the deal. Now, people in leadership have to be, they've used, and also what I got from listening is they've used the military. They use the military improperly. We put our military over there in China, and they don't really have much to say. It's kind of like you go over there, don't say anything, just look strong. You know what I'm saying? They want us to bring them over there. They don't want them too smart and all this. Don't ask questions. Just take names type of situation. All this stupid shit they teaching them that they ain't getting nowhere no time soon. If you have the intel to not just listen to not ruin your face, you're not gonna do that. You're gonna go over there and procreate. You're gonna go over there and you're gonna build some kind of fort or home, whatever they using at the time, and you're gonna integrate yourself and properly go there as as a United States citizen that's coming here to help an issue that y'all needed help with. You're gonna have that mindset. You're not gonna go over there and do stupid stuff. You know what I'm saying? I've got the stuff that I heard being in Washington DC. Some of these people are not intelligent enough to know how big that continent is. Asia is Asia. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I can say about that. Now, now, area working. Yeah, yeah. So that's basically what the hearing was. talking about transportation, commercial, and etc. All the stuff that has to do with technology, whatever they was describing, that's what it was. Now tomorrow I'm gonna go up there in the morning. I'm gonna break down what I get to sit in. They made this whole show about all these people coming out. Just be mindful of, just have the mindfulness of being genuine about your intentions. Don't let nobody trick you out of being a pure person. I don't care if you're white, black, orange, purple, Asia, Indian, African. Have pure intentions about your intentions. Like, that's it. I don't have much to say. Shout out to my family, my mother, my sisters, my grandfather, my grandmother, my nieces and nephews, my cousins, my sister there, people I call my brother, anybody that's associated with Elite Youth Association, Elite Association. I appreciate y'all. I know things, might seem like I feel, I don't feel like I'm not getting the support. I still have the strength that I feel like, my spirit is still strong. So I'm gonna continue to do what I do. With that being said, thank y'all for listening. I am your host, Ira Thomas Bush the Fourth. This is Dynasty the Podcast Show, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Thank you.